Hello, guys, and welcome to the Steelman Podcast. Today, you're here with Shadownick. Yes, you're here with me. Today, we are doing my hot take. It is on the NCAA tournament for March Madness. Yes, we will be doing that today. Sorry if I'm a little quiet. I'm doing this late at night. But we are doing this on the March Madness bracket because I wanted to make one, but we couldn't get together to do the Steelman one. So I decided to show you my process through picking this. So we will get through all this. So I think we go through the West first here. And my first pick right opposite off the bat here is we have the good old excuse me. The good old Gonzaga versus the Norfolk. I can't really say that name. Sorry, excuse me. Gonzaga versus Norfolk State. Sorry, Norfolk State. And I believe Gonzaga will win this game. It'll be close. I believe Gonzaga because they're a very powerful side of really been into not really into watching, but I believe when it comes to March Madness time, you look at the stats, you look at everything, the information. So we got here, and really just it's for me, it's leaning towards this because they have a little they're number one, and I have a thing on the phone here that tells me the record. So my information, and really, they're 26-0 versus a 16-17. I don't see how we have a big thing, but number one seed versus 16 seed. There's not really too much there. I mean, it's a number one seed versus 16. So as we look at the second one here, it's going to be very close. Oklahoma State versus Missouri, but I mean. In the past few times, in the past few games, the Missouri's been looking pretty decent here. They've been really winning some things, and really they've really done really good. I think they've won a lot of games. They have lost versus Tennessee and Arkansas twice, but Arkansas is a very good team. They lost to LSU and they lost to Ole Miss twice, but it's a little worse on the Arkansas because they won to Alabama. They won to Alabama. They won to Kansas but lost twice. Excuse me, lost to Baylor. Texas Tech, they lost twice, and they're a 6th seed. West Virginia, they won twice. Texas, they won but lost, and then lost twice versus Oklahoma State. Sorry, Oklahoma. And I'm gonna choose Missouri just because their stats. They're really good in similar games, but in the past few games they've been really picking it up, I think, and they've been looking really promising in the last. But I don't know. I'm leaning towards Missouri, but I don't know. This is a very close one. I'm going to say. Oklahoma just because I really think that they could pull it off here. And Gonzaga, it's not going to give them a run for that money. I'm sorry. Creighton versus USBC. I think we take USBC here because they have been they're the underdog here, but they're looking good on 3-point possessions. Their fact pace per game. They're looking pretty good on the fact pace points fast break points. I mean, they're about similar there. They're pretty even everywhere. I mean, they got a little bit more field goal percentage. Their free throw percentage is way higher than Creighton. Really, I think it's really going to be a great game here. It's going to be a close one too again, but I think I'm going to pull for the USBC here. Just Virginia versus Ohio. This is a tough one because I've heard that their point guard is like an NBA level player, and Virginia is the defending champions. They're fourth. It's 13th Ohio, and the suggested pitch is Virginia. but it really depends here. It could go either way. Maybe that point guard really shows up big, but I mean the 3 points kind of leaning towards Virginia a little bit, but the fast break points per game, Ohio could really pull that back onto their side. They're pretty even difference. Free throw percentage, they got Virginia's a little higher than that. The points per paint per the game. Now Ohio, if they can get in the paint, they're really working them. They're actually a little higher on that. Their points per game there, the seeds to turnovers per game. It's a little higher for Ohio just because they're 12 to 9. But I mean, streak steals per game. And I think the steals make up for the turnovers here because there's about the same difference here. And the rebounds margin, a little bit more on the Virginia side. Last 10 wins percentage 90 to 70. So I had to choose Ohio here just because they're looking good. Um, I'm really thinking they can get that edge. I think in this game, I'm really leaning towards uh, USC. I know that Drake's top out of more out of 100, but I think I'm leaning towards USC because even though they got the like fast break, they got the fast break, they got the field goal percentage, not as much. They don't have as much as these things, but I really think in this game, I think USC is a big contender in this one. I've heard that they really looking good, and it looks like they could give uh, Gonzaga a run for the money. With this one, I'm going to pick Kansas here, like a lot of the other people do. I know that Eastern Washington is ahead in here, and I know it would be cool to pick an upset here, but it's really with mine here. If you want to put down in the comments something different, but it really just lean toward Washington for this one. They're really kind of really concede they're kind of winning there, and they're also winning in power ranking and stuff. But really, I think it's really kind of leaning towards Kansas City because they're really high, better, like looking as a better team. They're nearly combining for 60 points a game. They're the Jayhawks who per half, their second half team. So I mean, even if the North, like the Eastern Washington, go up a little bit, they can come back. I mean, they're clamping down on defense, and that slowly as the season ended, it looks like they were really starting to clamp down on the defense. But the COVID-19 was hurting them a little during the start of the season. They actually were due to a positive COVID-19 test. They had to withdraw to the Big 12 tournament. So I mean, they have the most efficiency defended. So I think they can hold their own versus Eastern Washington here. And I think I'll go with them just because they're really gonna be good in the back. They're gonna be shutting them down here. They're gonna be good. Um Now we have the suggestion pick. This could go either way too. And they're both really kind of decent. They're both the same in the top 25. They're 0 for 1 versus top 25 teams. I mean, the conference looking about there, Colorado, Missouri, they lost to Missouri and USC, Oregon. Sorry, excuse me, Colorado versus Oregon. Oregon won one and lost one versus Colorado. US lost to USC, lost to Missouri, one to UCLA, and one to Seton Hall. As VSU, St. Boulevard, they won but lost. West Virginia, they lost. Utah State, they won by 16. St. Louis, they won by 2. And Memphis, they won by 11. So, and I mean, the Ducks really are looking pretty good, pretty balanced. They're very balanced on hand, average double figure veteran team who can really take threes, and they can set up deep runs. And really just can. And I mean, is this VCU team has an offensive star? I have to say, they do have an offensive star, and they have a double-digit scoring this season. But it's really going to be tough for them. They are pretty good in similar games, but I'm gonna have to pick Oregon on this just because I just think that Oregon can pull out a game here, pull a win here. Really get their stuff. This one I have have to say that I'm really looking at Iowa. They're a big contender to go pretty far in this tournament because they've been playing really well. And I mean, if we see a matchup versus like Gonzaga or Iowa, or USC versus Gonzaga, or USC versus Iowa, it'll be pretty close. But I think relatively this is an easy one because it's a 2 and 15 team. But the 15 team can surprise me. But I'm thinking Iowa's pretty good late round to pick here, and kind of Gonzaga, you gotta pick to almost win it. I don't know if I'll pick to win it, but here, USB versus Ohio. This is kind of the upset here, the upsets here. But I'm gonna pick Ohio just because I think I heard the point guard on that team will push them, and I think that. But if to be totally honest, if that's gonna happen, I think Gonzaga's just gonna pull that game out. They're gonna have like a little bit of easier run to the Final Four if that happens. But if it plays out differently, I'm just trying to throw some difference in here. Really try to shake it up a little bit. I don't think it's gonna be too much different than a lot of other brackets, but uh, it's really looking for that. Looking for just the thing. I mean, some of them I don't know, like USC versus Kansas. I think USC could pull an upset, but I don't know because it's very tight here. It's a very tight thing. I think Kansas with the defense, I think could pull it off, but USC could pull it off. I think that's a close one. Really with this here, really it's a very suggested pick, as you can see Kansas, but it's very close here. Um, Really just they're pretty even on everything. Like other than field goal percentage and free throw percentage, also points per game and opponent points per game. I'm gonna have to go. Really, I mean, dive deep into it. Points to paint in the game, kind of showing points per game a little bit around the same. 6 seed, 3 seed, turnovers per game, pretty much almost the exact same. They're even. It's like a 50-50 shots. It's like a flip a coin type thing. But I'm going to have to say Kansas because I want to see that solidified defense in there. But I could say USC. I mean, I think it's gonna be Kansas just because they got the defense down. They're not given. I mean, points per game 32 compared to 34. It's very close, but I think that might make the difference there. By reasoning, but this could totally be wrong. I think this one's gonna be. I'm leaning already towards Iowa. I know it's like out of 150, 55.8 pick on 100, but we're not looking to suggest a pick. I I just had to tell you, I think I was gonna go pretty deep into this thing. I think even though they are a well-rounded team here, they're both pretty good here. They're both really looking good. To be honest to you, uh, very good team, but I think just the fact of the how they Iowa's been playing, I think they can pull it out. And really, that's how I think. And I know it looks like a 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, but I think that's how that's going to turn out because a couple of these, I mean, we could see USC versus Iowa or Kansas. I'm still thinking about that USC. We'll come back to that real after that. We're gonna come back to that. I have to take a break from that one, but uh, I can tell you, Michigan. I want. I'm with these. I'm thinking versus Colorado. We got tons of different chooses here. I mean, I think I think it's safe to say if we pick all the number one seeds. I know it's really ridiculous to do that, but usually that's the way you do it. I mean, thing. Um, we got BYU versus UCLA, or what is it? UCLA or excuse me, sorry, I don't exactly know who that MSU. Oh, well, I'm just gonna be doing that. Okay, so we reset it. Who are they going to be playing? BYU playing who? I don't exactly know what two teams are up against. They're up against here. They are playing either UCLA or MSU. I'm not exactly sure exactly, but I'm gonna go BYU on that. I I have a feeling BYU can pull that out there. Texas, I'm gonna think is pulling that out. So it's a BYU versus Texas type thing. We got UConn versus Maryland. I want to pick Maryland for this one. I mean, the suggested pick is UConn, but I just want to really kind of go with. Ooh, okay, rebound. See, I'm now thinking, rethinking here. I know the stats don't tell it, but it's for me. It's looking more towards UConn for that one. Ooh, it's pretty even, but I'm thinking, I'm thinking the percentage of rebounds really might hurt Maryland in that game. But I'm picking Alabama, I believe. Yes, we'll pick Alabama for here. I think they just have just the stats on them, and I think they have the team over them right now. And that one dude, I can't remember. I believe they have a guy. Can't remember his name, but I know they pushed him to become pretty good run for them. So we got another here. We got the 4 seed versus the 13 seed. UNC Greensboro versus Florida State. And really just I'm gonna go Florida State because it's in favor of them. Turnovers per game is in the favor of UNC, but I just don't think that'll help them really in the steals per game, and is pretty even. But rebounds margin pretty even, 60 to 80. But it really all depends. So I'm thinking really just the big facts of the goalkeeping, field goal percentages is going to help them really. Opponents' points per game might think, but I think I'm going with Florida State just because I think they'll be ready for it. I think they'll be testing them. I think there might be another upset here, to be honest. The suggestion pick is Colorado, Georgetown, but I think Georgetown could pull it off here. Uh, I'm going with a couple of them because I feel like we could go with a couple of the 12s. Could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong. I'm not too into basketball. I mean, at this point, really, I'm not looking too much at stats. I'm just kind of picking and choosing. Really, just kind of going off of what other people choose. Kind of going with some upsets. I kind of like to choose some upsets here and there because it's pretty good. But I'm leaning towards Saint Bonaventure here. I think that the rebounds are gonna hurt LSU on that play there. I think it's not gonna be too great for them on that. So yeah. Now I'm going to choose Michigan because I think coming out being in first and then having a power team, I don't know exactly how good they are, but I think they'll pull it out there. We have Georgetown versus Florida State, and I think Florida State may have they might Georgetown might give them a run for the money here, but I just see that Florida State is pulling this victory out here, moving on, and really just kind of eliminates some of the smaller teams in the lower rankings. I think this year, and then we might not see too many lower team ranking go up in, but I could be wrong. We could have total chaos, but I really think Florida State is one of those ones that could go all the way. I could be wrong, and they could play Colorado, and Colorado could go versus Michigan, but I still think that's gonna end up like this. We have a BYU versus Texas, and I'm gonna go for the upset like everybody, but like it's suggesting me. I mean, you gotta live on a limb here. I think BYU is gonna pull it out, and I think this is a tough one. I think, and I know it's a 17 versus a 2 seed. I know they have that on that, but I think really sorry about that. So um, I'm kind of leaning towards Alabama a little bit just because it's suggested. And it's really even. It's really a 50-50 shot here. But I- I'm thinking Alabama could pull it out. Though I think it'll be a very high scoring game, but I think just the points per game will win it for Alabama. I think their offense will win it. I think that offensive tech on it will win it for them. So Um, yeah. Let's go to the next one. So we have Baylor, and then we got Wisconsin versus North Carolina. I'm gonna go with my first 8 seed. I'm gonna deal with my first 8 seed. I'm leaning towards North Carolina there. They're looking pretty good. And points per game, 10 or last game win percentage. Sorry, I'm totally looking at points per game is on North Carolina's side. We got 10 game percentage. It's really suggested that North Carolina's coming off hot, and I think they're going to keep that going. And I mean, with this one, we have Baylor versus North Carolina here, but really, you know, anything can happen right now, and really, points per game, I think, uh, is going to be what's going to decide it. And I think it's going to be a really difficult one here for me, to be honest. Really going to have to crack down on this, but I really think it's going to be tough for, I think, a lot of crap. But yeah. So, sorry. I really think it's going to be tough for them, but I really think we really going to crack down here. But I mean, they're really just they're coming off hot. They have high quality victories versus Florida State and Virginia Tech. This really just and UNC wins on their defense, so they're particularly strong. Strong. So I mean, with pretty much really good rebound, really good strength up top, and North Carolina. You got to choose North Carolina there over Wisconsin, and nothing against Wisconsin, just really kind of looking at it, just the matchup here. And I mean, yeah, Baylor, really just the best offense. They score tons. They drain their threes. It's like it's gonna be a tough matchup, but I'm really thinking the defense comes in clutch for North Carolina pretty quickly. I think it really comes in clutch really quickly. But I think after a while, I think Baylor will win that game just because I think overall they'll slowly crack them down on that. Really there. But we got a Winthrop versus Villanova, and this is where it gets tough because you got Villanova at 5, Winthrop a little higher. I have to say Winthrop just for the fact of just they're coming off hot too again. They're 90. They're pretty good. They're looking good. They're looking hot. Rebounds. Their defense. They keep it together. So I'm going Winthrop. Purdue versus North Texas. You know, do I go for the next upset? Do I go for the next upset? You know, they're both coming in about the same. I'm I'm gonna go for a Purdue win. I I know choose more, but I'm gonna go for a Purdue win just because they're looking like they have a good defense. They're kind of doing it, but yeah, I think really Purdue pulls it out there, but I think they go down to Winthrop. I think they go down to Winthrop, and then Baylor wins that game. It's not looking too good for some of the lower seeds here. I'm really wishing I could go farther, but it just doesn't look like it. I'm thinking, I'm gonna choose Texas Tech. Really close, really 50-50 here. But I know they're coming off of 50 out of their last game, so 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Their their thing. So kind of leaning toward Texas Tech, but I want to say Utah. Just for the upsets. But mm, you know, ooh, I'm gonna sit on this one. We're gonna sit on this one. Can I sit on? No, okay, so we're gonna have to choose one. I'm gonna sit on this one, but I'm gonna go with Utah State and go an upset in here. Arkansas, definitely a high contender to go later in the round. I think Arkansas is going pretty deep. To be honest, I think they might reach the Final Four. You know, one big thing is I think that uh, I think Florida Gators can pull it out there. I think they're I'm leaning towards Florida Gators on this, and I'm leaning towards Ohio State because I don't think I know Oral Roberts could give him a run for the money, but it just looks like that. And really, I think Ohio State's going pretty far. I think this is the matchup that I want to see, but really, I think Arkansas is going to win this. I think Arkansas can pull it out. They're coming in hot. I think, after winning their first game, after claiming a victory over Utah State or Texas Tech, whoever wins, I think Arkansas goes in, and I think it's a nice 1-3 battle. I think it's a nice 1-3 battle. That's one of the ones I'm kind of more sure about. I kind of like that a little bit. I got some upsets in there. I got some upsets everywhere. I mean, to be honest, there's anything that can happen, so you gotta really watch for these upsets. But yeah, but we gotta go with an 8 seed again. We gotta go with an 8 seed. Loyola Chicago is just coming in hot. They're 90 and 80, both of them coming in hot. It's gonna be a great game, I think. But the rebound's gonna hurt. I think Georgia Tech here. I think steals per game will help them a little bit, but not as much as that. I think points per game leaning towards Georgia Tech, but kind of just staying. But I think really, I think Loyola can pull it out there. Nice little thing. I think Illinois here is going to pull it out just because they're both coming in hot, but I don't think they're going to pick. I don't think Loyola College will give Illinois a big run. I think they'll give them a run for their money, but just not enough. I don't think it's going to be uh, enough to really push. Because I mean, I think it might be like a 10 point, maybe a 4 point game. It's going to be close. Not going to be too bad far apart. It's going to be a good game. Um, I think Tennessee is another one. Pretty good team. Really just averaging out. I know Oregon State's coming in a little high, better from their last 10 games, but I'm thinking last 10, it's not really gonna matter. I mean, they're pretty close, and I just think the pretty close means that I think Tennessee can pull it out. But I mean, it could go either way with that one. But I think out of all of them, that's the one that I'm gonna probably lean towards the fifth seed more than the 12th seed. Though I wouldn't mind us seeing a Liberty victory. In my other bracket, I have Oklahoma State going farther, but I don't think that'll happen with this one, in this one, because I think I'm gonna take a chance on Liberty because the turnovers per game they're getting pretty much a little bit more rebounds, steals per game. I mean, leaning towards Oklahoma, but uh, Liberty's coming off a 100 win streak. It could be just the boy people they played, but I think we can see an upset there. I think that'll be good. But I'm really liking the looks of San Diego State. I'm liking their looks constantly. They're one of the teams that I'm really liking the look of compared to a lot of these other teams. We got West Virginia versus Moorhead, and I have to just go West Virginia because Moorhead doesn't isn't one of the better 14 seed teams. I think it's just gonna be them coming off of that. It's really kind of just what I think it is. I believe Rutgers can pull it off versus the Clemson Tigers. I think Rutgers can do it. I believe that. I think Rutgers can do it. If Clemson proves me wrong, great to them. I think that uh, Houston, I think, is just going to win that. I think they're going to pull it out. I don't think there's going to be too many upsets with the lower seeds, and I think Houston's going to make it pretty far. And I think we got San Diego State. I'm really leaning towards San Diego State to go pretty far again. I'm kind of liking my odds, but you know, uh, Liberty could go pretty far, but I'm taking Tennessee over Liberty. Kind of that really cool combination. But I mean, I could pick Liberty just because people picked it for the upset. I mean, I could pick it for the upset, but I'm really thinking the parts that's gonna hurt them are the fast break points. Really, you know what? I'm leaning towards Liberty now just because of the stats. I'm kind of liking Liberty, but I mean, this could all change during the thing. Uh, Illinois is kind of the one I'm leaning towards here, though. I think Illinois can get the job done. Uh, right here, Houston. It's a 1-2 combination here. 1-2 minutes. I'm gonna get. I would first go with that, but I have to switch it up and go San Diego State. I want an upset. I'm going to think Illinois wins that uh, to get into the Final Four, really. And I think out of this, I think Arkansas can give them a run for the money. I think Arkansas is going to go deep into it. I think they can reach the Final Four. I think they can take on Baylor. Correct me if I'm wrong, any of you out there. I mean, to be honest, I don't know too much about this, but I really think that a lot of the one seeds will make it pretty far in this tournament. But I believe that some of the three teams are able to sneak in there. And I think some of the two teams, some of the six seeds are really looking pretty good here. The win percentage, I mean, right now, the steals per game, the rebound margin is leaning towards BYU. I think BYU can pull it out. I think BYU coming into there. It's a BYU Michigan. I'm gonna do an upset. I'm gonna go 6 seed versus 1 seed. This is gonna be the reacher. Probably not really gonna happen, but I do have to say it. But I'm leaning towards Michigan win. I'm now going to a probably three number one spots. You know what? Actually, sorry, I'm gonna go with Bama. I'm gonna go with Bama. I'm sorry for all you that wanted me to do that, and I'm gonna go with Bama winning it over Michigan. I think Bama can win it, pull it out versus Michigan. But you know what? I'm gonna stick with Michigan. I'm gonna stick with my gut for right now. I'm gonna go Michigan. And this, my gut's kind of suggesting USC here. I think USC can pull it out, but it's going to be a 1 versus 2 matchup here. We got Gonzaga versus Iowa for my combination here. This could totally be wrong, totally be right. I don't know, but it for one for this, but Gonzaga is just one of the ones to go and win it. To be honest, I think Gonzaga will pull it out versus Michigan. Gonzaga is just a big contender in this tournament. I do have to say I like the odds of Illinois, but I'm pulling for Arkansas, and Arkansas Gonzaga final here. I kind of was leaning towards that from the beginning. I'm really liking the looks of Gonzaga and Arkansas. I'm liking the looks of it because I think Arkansas can pull it out. And just here, I'm thinking we go with a Gonzaga win here. I know I'm pretty bad. Here is I'm not gonna score predict. All I have to score predict. So I'm gonna go with a. Let's see here. So we're gonna look here. We're gonna look at points per game. Let's go with a 90 to a 84 game. I think it's gonna be close. Not that close. We will finish this bracket and done. So I've chosen Gonzaga to win it all this year. Yeah, but I think equally there's a couple teams that could have gone all the way. I think Michigan could go all the way. I think BYU could actually make a run for it. I think Alabama could make a run for it. Uh, there's a couple other ones. I mean, back to bracket. Let's go to my Shadownick bracket here. I think really Iowa could make a big run for it. I mean, if they can beat Gonzaga, that would be crazy. I would love to see that upset here. I would love to see Iowa go pretty far, but my gut's saying Gonzaga here. Another one I think could go pretty far with without really saying it is I think San Diego State might could pull it out versus Illinois. I mean, another 6 seed that we could be seeing here. I wanted to go. I was trying to match up on the bottom. I didn't realize it without always doing that, but I went with Bama at the end. I mean San Diego. Well, I'm thinking pretty hot coming into here. I think they can pull it out. I think we see them upset a few teams we see them upset the second team. I think they can pull it out there. And I'm really liking their odds, really. But I mean, we could see totally different. I'm just kind of going in with minimal information, just enough of what they're telling me, and just that. So, thank you guys for watching this Steelman podcast video. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, maybe share some of your picks to win the whole NCAA March Madness bracket, and make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the videos. Make sure to tell us what we should do, what we should talk about. Maybe leave some questions that we can answer down in the comments. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out, boys. Always stay steel strong.